Hi everyone, welcome back to Hook and Sword. Today we are going to learn how to make one of the characters from the Among Us. He's so cute! So I have been watching a lot of people online play this game. It is so fun to watch and it's fun to know who is the imposter throughout the game. I feel like Girlfriend Reviews really explains this well, and they kind of compare it to the movie The Thing. And it's pretty accurate, actually, if you've seen the movie. So basically, you have a group of friends that are on the spaceship, and you are one of these characters. There's several different colors of this. And you are either a crewmate, or you are one of the two imposters. So if you are a crewmate, which is the majority, you run around on the spaceship, and you complete your task to keep the spaceship running. And if you complete all your tasks, the crewmates win the game. Or if the crewmates figure out who the imposter is, they win the game. And if you are a imposter, you don't have any task. So if you are the imposter, you sneak around the game and you try to kill off everybody and convince everybody that you are a crewmate doing your task. You have to convince everybody, and it is so fun to watch. Oh. I'm going to show you what you need to make this. So let's talk about materials. So for the body, I used the Big Twist value in Magenta. So as you can see, there are several different colors that you can choose from the characters in the video game, but I chose the Magenta one. Now for the eye, I used the Big Twist value in Cornflower Blue. And then this part is completely optional, which is the outline of the eye and the backpack and the little glare in the eyeball. So right here. So I used Big Twist value in white and then Red Heart Super Saver in black. So if you have any worsted weight black and white yarn in your yarn stash, I would go ahead and use that, to be honest. Or if you don't want to use it at all, I actually made one without the glare and then the outline. So your project would look like this if you don't use the outline. So the hook size I used was H8 or 5 milliliters. You will need some stitch markers. You will need some yarn needles and some scissors. You will also need some polyfill stuffing. Now you won't need like this whole thing, but I like to have a lot on hand. You only need a little bit of it. So now I'm going to turn the camera down and I will show you how to make this. So before we get started on this tutorial, I want to give you a quick reminder to please subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get started. All right, let's get started on the body portion from here to here. Alright, so we're going to start with the Big Twist value in Magenta. And we are going to start out with a slip stitch. So we're putting the 2 fingers underneath the yarn and we are forming our X. There is the X. We're going to flip this over. There we go. And get our hook. Under and over. I'm going to pull all the way through and get that knot close to the hook. So now we're going to go ahead and chain 7. Alright, so now we have our chain and we are going to skip that first chain from the hook and we are going to single crochet only in that first loop all the way down, which is 6 stitches. Pull through. Should be looking like that. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. And that's what it should look like for now. I would actually start adding a stitch marker at that first single crochet, that way you can keep track. Alright, so this is 6 single crochets completed, and as you can see there is that second half of that V, and we are going to continue on that side. So we are going to single crochet in that little loop. Don't put it in that slip stitch, just put it in that loop. So you're going to insert your hook right there. Okay, now we're going to yarn over, pull through, and 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both loops. And I would go on each stitch all the way down, and you should have 12 total when you're done with this side as well. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Insert your hook, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Okay, so that is what it looks like now. We're technically crocheting in the rounds. Okay, for row 2, we're going to do an increase for the first stitch, which means we are doing 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And we are doing this in both loops. Insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Alright, let's get that stitch marker in there, in that first stitch we did. So for the next 4 stitches, we are going to do a single crochet in each. Both of those loops. Pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Alright, so for the next 2 stitches, we are going to do an increase in each stitch. So you should have 4 total in this section. Through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Okay, now inserting into the next stitch. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. The increase. Alright, should look like that. And now for the next 4 stitches, we're going to do a single crochet in each. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Okay, so the last stitch we're going to do an increase. So at the end of this row you should have 16 stitches. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Okay, so your project should be looking like that. Now let's get started on row 3. So the first stitch you're going to do is an increase. So 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Alright, finish that increase, and then the next stitch is going to be a single crochet. Okay, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops, and we're going to repeat that all the way around this row. So that one should be an increase. That was an increase, and the next one should be a single crochet, and we're just going to keep repeating that all the way around. Okay, so this is what your project should look like now. So for row 4, we're going to do another increase on the first stitch, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. Pull through both loops. Alrighty, we have that increase, and the next 2 stitches we're doing a single crochet. Insert your hook. And you're going to repeat that all the way around, and you should have 32 stitches. So this is what your project should look like. So for row 5 through 19, you're going to do just a single crochet all the way around, and you should still have 32 stitches. And we are creating height in this body. We have the width we want, we just need to get the body larger. So you're going to keep going. Alrighty, so now when you finish that, you're going to turn the body inside out with the right side of the stitches. And now we're going to go ahead and stuff it. And I would not leave any room with this, so you would stuff it right at the brim of the body. There we go. And that is the body. Alright, so let's go ahead and start fastening off. We're just going to cut that end right there. We're going to make that knot. And pull through. Now we can get that stitch marker out. That is it. Alright, let's get started on the legs. We are going to be making 2 of these. So we're going to first start out with a magic ring. So I would start this like you would be doing a slip stitch. You're making the X like normal, flipping it over. You still have 2 rows on your fingers. Gonna go under and over, and instead of pulling through, go ahead and let go from your fingers and grab the working yarn, which is the one that's connected to the ball of yarn. And then you're just gonna chain 1. Okay, you can kind of unwind that shorter end, and you're going to crochet in both of those strings right there in that loop. So we're going to be doing 6 single crochets in the magic ring, and that should be just like normal. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Alrighty, this is 6 single crochets. And you are going to grab that short string in the ring, that one, and you're just going to pull. And that is the magic of the magic ring. Alright, so now for row 2, we're going to do an increase in each stitch, which is going to double it to 12 stitches. Now this one is going to be a little tricky, a little tight right now. But if you wiggle your hook around for each stitch, it should get easier. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. And I would get that stitch marker started on that first stitch, that way you can keep track. So this is what your project should look like. Now for row 3, we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch. And then the next one is an increase. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. And we're going to repeat that all the way around, and your project should look like this. So rows 4 through 7, we're going to just do a single crochet all the way around, and you should still have 18 stitches. You keep track with that little stitch marker. Insert, yarn over, pull through. Alrighty, so your leg should look like that, and you would flip it inside out, like so, and cut a very long end, and we're going to fasten off by creating that knot. Pull through. You can take that stitch marker out and make 2. So at this point you have made your body and the legs. So when you're sewing in the legs, make sure that it is as in the center as the line as possible. So when you sew the leg, it will stay straight up. So use the top portion as your guide. So I folded the body in half and made the placement where I would want the legs to be, as you can see. So it's just a marker where I could start sewing it. It would go together like that. So take one of the legs out and just start sewing. It is just in and out between both stitches. Insert in that stitch. And then you pull through. And kind of alternate between legs to bring them closer together on one side. Okay, so when they're closest together, go ahead and tie a not too tight of a knot like that, just kind of a loose knot, so that way you can start sewing the legs together. Okay, here I am going with the sewing. Just trying to make it as clean as possible, just going in and out. Okay, so now we're on the other side, and I would go ahead and get another stitch marker just to get it to close so you can add some stuffing. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start stuffing the legs when you get that stitch marker in the middle there. You don't want to leave too much room inside the body, and after you start stuffing, you are going to just sew that closed. Okay, so once when you sew it closed, you are going to fasten off in the end, and you're just going to make a knot like so, and then you're going to hide that end inside the body. So I just kind of like stab it and poke the yarn needle through the other side, and then get my scissors and tug it and then cut and mold it so you can no longer see the end. Alright, let's get started on the backpack. It's right there. Okay, so we are going to start with that slip stitch with the pink yarn. We're going to make that X. Here we go. And flip over. We have those two loops on our fingers, and we're going to take our hook, go under, over, and pull through. And then you're going to tug on that working yarn so the knot gets right towards your hook. And you're going to go ahead and chain 8. Okay, so now you have 8 chains. So for row 1, we're going to do a single crochet all the way down, and we're going to skip that first stitch. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Alright, so that is what row 1 should look like, and we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and flip our work, and we are going to mirror all the way down. So what I mean by mirror, normally we would do a single crochet in the front, but we're actually going to go towards the back. So for example, single crochet, we would be going in that way, but for mirroring, we are going to go in through this way. Yarn over, pull through. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Feels a little weird at first, but it is well worth it when you learn how to mirror. Pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. You're going to go all the way down. So for row 38, you're going to alternate between single crochet and mirror single crochet until you have done 8 rows. Alright, let's go ahead and transition. There is my 8 rows right there. As you can see, there's one that has more bumps than the other. Looks more clean. So we're going to go ahead and do a chain 1, and we're going to single crochet for 4 rows on the side. You insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. So we're going to fasten off right here. So we are making the corners of the backpack to make it stand out as a cube on the body. So we're going to do that on all 4 sides. See how it's going to look? So this is what it should look like at the end of it. And you're going to be sewing each corner together. So you have a cube like. So you're going to bring those two corners together and you're going to pull through. Yeah, sew the rest of that in there. Alrighty, that's what your project should look like. So at this point you have made the backpack and all four corners and haven't done the outline yet. So just try to make it as center as possible with the line at the top. Okay, so once when you position it on the body, you're going to have a nice long strand of yarn and you are going to sew it as center as you can on the backpack, on the body. So at the corner, I like to make a little knot just to secure the sewing, and then continue to go through. So I only did 3 sides. Just leave that one spot open so I can add stuffing to it. Alright, here I go with the stuffing. And then you go ahead and seal it closed once when you have stuffed it enough. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and fasten off the yarn and you're going to hide the ends in the plushie itself. So I just made a knot at the end and then like so. Just grab a little bit of the yarn and you have that loop right there. Pull it up so you can see it. And pull up and then get that yarn needle and pull through that little loop right there. There we go. Insert and pull. Now we're going to go ahead and get started on the outline. So we're going to switch to the black yarn and we're going to do a back stitch, which is actually from embroidery. So you're going to make your little knot in one of the corners. With that nice long string of black yarn. So you're going to go a little bit further into the line and then you are going to pull your yarn needle where you originally started. And then you're just going to keep going all the way around. And feel free to take your time with this. You don't need to make big chunks, especially in the corners. So just as long as you can make it as straight as you can. And this is what mine looks like. Now you're going to go ahead and tie the knot together and then you are going to hide the ends. And then you do the same thing and make a square on the other side of the cube. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on the eyes and the eye glare. We're going to start with the blue yarn and we're going to make our slip knot like normal. And there's our 2 loops on our fingers. Going to take our hook under, over, and then pull through, and we're going to chain 7. So this one's going to be very similar to the body. We are going to do skipping the first chain and we're going to do single crochet on one side of the loop all the way down. Pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. That's what your project should look like. Pull through, yarn over both loops. So once when you have 6 stitches, I would get that stitch marker in there. And then just like the body, we are going to be doing single crochet on the second part of that loop. That way we can start crocheting in the rounds. So we're going to insert our hook. Make sure you do not insert your hook into the slip knot. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. So you should have 12 stitches total at the end of round 1. That's what it should look like. Alright, just like the body, row 2, we're going to do an increase on the first stitch in both loops. Make sure you have both loops in there. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Insert in that same stitch, single crochet. Get that stitch marker in that first stitch you did. Alrighty, so for the next 4 stitches, you're going to do a single crochet in each and make sure to go into both loops. Alright, so the next 2 stitches, you're going to do an increase in each one. Through, pull through both loops. So for the next 4 stitches, you're going to do single crochet again. And then for the last one, you're going to do an increase. Through. Alrighty, so this is what your project should look like now. So for round 3, we're going to do an increase in the first stitch. Pull through both loops, get that stitch marker in there. And then do a single crochet in that same stitch. Alright, so for the next 2 stitches, you're going to do a single crochet in each. And then you're going to repeat that all the way down. That's what your project should look like. So for row 4, you're going to do a single crochet all the way around. You're just going to do one of them. And you should still have 22 stitches. Alright, so that's what it should look like, and we're going to go ahead and fasten off the eye. We're going to leave a nice long tail so we can sew it to the body. So we got that loop. I'm going to grab that end of the yarn and pull through. So the middle, there's a little bit of a hole, so I would use your yarn needle to kind of sew it together a little bit. Just use the excess when you did your slip knot. There we go. So at this point you have made the eyes. And again, you're going to be using this top part as your guide to make it as centered as possible in the upper portion of your plushie. Okay, so go ahead and position the eye where you want it on your body. And we're going to use that extra long tail we did, and we're going to start sewing it to the body. All the way around. Okay, so I would leave a little bit of a hole at the bottom and start stuffing it. There we go. That way it can take shape, and go ahead and seal it off. And we're going to go ahead and make a knot at the end of the sewing, and we're going to hide that end inside the plushie, like so. Pull through. There it is. So now we're going to go ahead and outline the eye in black using that back stitch that we did with the backpack. So we're going to just do a knot in one of the corners of the eye using the black yarn. We're just going to grab a little piece of it and put that yarn needle back where we started, like so, and pull through. I'm going to go all the way around like that. So after you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and fasten off by tying the ends together and hiding the excess. inside the plushie. That's what it should look like now. So let's go ahead and add that white portion, or the glare. So let's go ahead and get our white yarn and just cut a nice long piece, like so. And there's no science to this, just try to get to the edge of the eye as possible. And I would not tie it first. I would just make loops all the way down to halfway across the eye and then go back, and then you would tie it together. But try to make as much coverage as you can on that first row, on that first round, like so. I'm just trying to cover a little bit. Alrighty, so I went all the way to halfway point, all the way down, and now I am tying it together. So I'm getting that end and then making that knot. There we go. I'm going to hide that excess string. So I like to stick in my needle and then thread the yarn and then pull through the plushie. And that's it. So that's it. That is how you make your Among Us plushie. And if you have any questions on how to make this or any request of future tutorials, feel free and leave a comment down below. And if you would like to see more of this content, feel free and hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you next time. Bye!